fellas, white South Africans want to leave the country. This is crazy. Is this going to be a big problem for the rest of South Africa? Will the black people suffer from hunger since white farmers are taking their stuff and leaving the country? Will every bank fall on the ground? The hospitals, transportation system all go to the gutter? You better find out about this. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are appreciated. I see you. First thing first, YouTube says a lot of you people watch videos, but you're not subscribed. Please click on the button subscribe before we start. You already know you want to be here because I like you. I mean, I know I look like your cousin. You look like mine. This is family. Look, you want to know about Africa? You are at the right place. This is where we talk about Africa. We discuss about everything. We sometimes bash one another. We bash everybody here. You're not special. Trust me. We're going to bash your country, but it's all for the good. You know, the goal is to all come together and grow. Africa can't stay behind forever. I see you from all over the place, from the Caribbeans. I greet you from the United States of America, from all over Europe. I see you. Okay, we are in South Africa. Close to 70,000 South Africans have expressed interest in moving in the United States of America following Washington's offer to resettle people from the Afrikaner community of South Africa. Yes, fellas, 70,000 people have expressed their needs to leave South Africa. How do we know this? South African Chamber of Commerce in the USA, the SACUSA, said its website received tens of thousands of registrations from those seeking more information. Now, what is SACUSA? SACUSA is a group representing South African business people living in the United States of America. They say people who have expressed interest in migrating in the US are aged between 25 and 45 years old. So basically, you have this group of people and company that's based in America with the goal of supporting South African business people that live in America or operate business in America, have received just short to 70,000 requests to help them on how to move from South Africa to the US. Now, why is this happening? Well, if you remember in February, executive order by Donald Trump said Afrikaners or descendants of mainly Dutch settlers who arrived in South Africa in the 17th century could be admitted as refugees as they were victims of unjust racial discrimination in South Africa. So we all know what's happened. Donald Trump came very strong against South Africa, hitting very hard, saying that the way black people are treating white people is genocidal, it's unacceptable. They are taking land from white people, and this is not acceptable. So he hit South Africa with sanctions. He cut the US aid, which enabled many people in South Africa to receive help when it comes to HIV and many other things. Health workers and many other people lost their jobs. Now, the funding is gone. And now, report says that 67,042 people have registered at SACUSA asking to be helped to transition to the United States of America. How do you feel about that? Will the country go to the gutter? Because Afrikaners, for most cases, are farmers. They are very good farmers. They produce the good. The potatoes, the tomatoes, the carrots, the everything that you put on your plate, in most cases, comes from Afrikaner farmers. Will South Africa suffer from this if these farmers leave the country? Now, will they really leave South Africa, or it's just a way to push a little bit left, right, center so they can get more power and sit properly in South Africa? Some people believe that some Afrikaners, and I say some people believe that some Afrikaners that were benefiting from the apartheid regime are missing that time, are missing the treatment they got, because now it has to be some sort of 50-50. And for people that used to having it all while you have nothing, asking them to do 50-50 feels like oppression. This is what some people believe. Do you think that is the case? Now, how did we get to this place? I know a lot of people are asking, are they white people in South Africa? Well, yes, there are white people in South Africa. Many years ago, they came to Africa. Okay, so unlike all other white people that came to Africa, Afrikaners, usually descendants of German, Dutch, and French, came to Africa with the goal of funding new homes. They wanted to resettle, to stay forever. Like the British, the Germans, the French, who came to Africa primarily to steal, loot, take minerals, wood, and stuff and go back to their country, Afrikaners wanted the new land where they can recreate, they can restart, they can reset. However, they didn't come in peace, okay? So they didn't want to stay in peace with the black people they found. According to history, they did a lot of negative things to the black people. They imprisoned, beat, forced, did a lot of negative things. In 1913 in South Africa, they signed the Native Land Act. And the Native Land Act basically say that black people could not own lands anymore. All the land of South Africa belong to white people. So you're either going to give your lands up or they're going to beat you out of your land. So all the black people that owned land at the time were now forced to go work in a farm that belonged to the white man. That's what it was. So white people in South Africa own about 72% of land, even though they are less than 10% of the population. And that is a big problem. Now in 1948, the apartheid system became official. Apartheid system is basically where black people and white people don't mingle. They don't sit together. They don't talk to one another like that. They are not friends. They don't eat in the same plate. They don't drink from the same water fountain. They don't travel in the same bus. They don't sleep in the same bed. They don't date each other. They don't go to school together. It was crazy. So obviously white people being on top while black people being servants and slaves. And that was a very, very harsh and difficult time for South Africans. Many people were beaten, sent to jail, unjustly unalived. Very sad. However, in 1994, Nelson Mandela came out of jail, and that's when they had the biggest election in South Africa at the time. And the biggest black political party, the ANC, had won the election. Obviously, the majority of people in South Africa being black won the election against the white people in South Africa. Well, South Africa has gone through the most. Back in time, there was a system where there was white, Indians, black, and colored. Yes, there are many races in South Africa. White, Indian, black, and colored, and more. Okay. However, you might be asking yourself, how come the Indians are in South Africa? Yes, the British also brought in Indians to work primarily in KwaZulu-Natal. KwaZulu-Natal is the province of Shaka Zulu. I'm sure you heard of Shaka Zulu. Shaka Zulu is this great warrior of Africa. And in KwaZulu-Natal, the Indians were imported with the goal of doing some work. Why? Because some people believe that many Zulu people in KwaZulu-Natal refuse to work on the field. Therefore, they brought in Indians to do the job. Now, after apartheid, some Indians left, but many remain. And well, up until today, Durban, KwaZulu-Natal is the place where you find the most Indians in the world outside of India. There are many Indians living there. Anyway, now, fast track today. Remember back in time, in 1913, they signed the acts where black people could not own lands anymore. All the lands belonged to the whites. Up until today, 72% of the land, it is reported, belong to minority whites. The minority whites are less than 10% in South Africa. Now, the government of Cyril Ramaphosa was trying to find a way to get some lands back. People of South Africa refuse to give the land back. They want to be compensated, so they want you to pay for the land they took. Black people argue that you took the land by force. If not you, your forefathers came and unalived my forefather and took the land by force. However, there's no reason why we should take the land by paying you any sort of money. Now, they find it unfair that the black people of today will even think about taking the land without having to pay them any money. Now, Cyril Ramaphosa, president of South Africa, wanted to come up with a plan of taking some lands because obviously there are some lands in South Africa that belong to white people. Those lands are unoccupied since 1913. I mean, just imagine a big chunk of land, like 10 soccer fields that belong to one person. He acquires it in 1930 and he has done absolutely nothing with it. Now, government says if you have not implemented, you have not invested financially, you have not done anything with the land, can we take the land back so we can do something for the public interest, like building an hospital or building school or building something that will profit everybody in South Africa? Can we do that? Now, the people that own the land, even though for many cases have not done anything to transform the land or invested any money in the land, are feeling like they're being deprived of their rights of the land. Now, who do you think is right? Who do you think is wrong? And that is the reason why Donald Trump came strongly on South Africa, saying, you are taking the land from the white people. You are a racist country. Now, the idea was supported by Elon Musk. Obviously, he's within the ears of Trump, pushing him into that direction. You know what? You need to punish South Africa. Well, many people ask, why would Elon Musk do that? Elon Musk was born in South Africa. Well, some people believe Musk was born in South Africa of a privileged family. His parents had money. His father was very much involved and active during the apartheid regime. He benefited from those stuff. That could possibly be the reason why he hates the fact that things have changed. Now, other people argue that Elon Musk came to South Africa to try implement Starlink. He wanted to get into the market. But the South African government has policies. The policy of South Africa says if you come as a big company, you need to give 30% shares of your company. Not gives, but you need to sell. So it has to be 30%. They must buy 30% from you. You can't have 100%. 30% will go to black people. Why? To help black people rise up. Why? Because they suffered the most in the country. Musk didn't want that. He cannot give that. He says that's racist. And many people feel like because Musk was triggered that way, he's also doing everything he can for South Africa to suffer. Other people believe the reason why we're getting to this is because South Africa took the country you don't name to court. Remember? So they had to make them pay for that. Why? Because Trump is the biggest fan of the country you don't name. And you don't name that country. Why? Because if you name that country, your video gets shadow banned. Shadow banned means let's just slow it down. Okay. Let me know how you feel about this. 67,000 white South Africans have expressed the need to leave the country. Is this a good thing? Will this impact South Africa in some ways when it comes to the economy, to the business? Yeah, because many white people, you need to admit it, are creators of businesses. As much as black people are trying as much as they possibly can, they have not leveled up to the level of the mentality of being business creators. Yes, there are many South African black people that are business creators, but not enough for the number of the population. So a lot of people still depend on businesses that are basically were created by other people. It's a big issue. As much as South Africa is trying to do its best, there should be a level of balance. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.